Today we're going to be continuing on our quest of learning the halachos of Yomim Noroim. Today specifically going on to the sugya of Hilchos Yom HaKippurim Haba Aleinu L'Tova. As we said on the night of Slichas Motzei Shabbos, if you remember, there's absolutely nothing sad about Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is be'etzem the happiest day of the year. We should be jumping up and down because we have the opportunity, Slicha v'Kapara, wipe it clean. It's a gavaldic feeling at the end of Ne'ilah. Forget about the eating. Who cares about the eating? By the time you get to the end of Ne'ilah, you care about the fact that you feel clean. That's what Yom Kippur can do. However, Yom Kippur requires certain things. You can't just walk into a Yom Kippur. You have to know what it's all about. So Me'ez Hashem will discuss that at a different time. But here, right now, I want to go through some of the halachos. Be'ikah starting, maybe tomorrow we'll do the actual halachos of Yom Kippur. Today, I want to do Hilchos Erev Yom Kippur. It is important for a person to know the halachos of Hilchos Erev Yom Kippur as follows. There is a mitzvah Mincha Torah. The Gemara tells us in Yuma Daf Pehei Amar Aleph, there's a mitzvah mid'oraisa. We learn this from Psukim, to eat on Erev Yom Kippur. It's a mitzvah d'oraisa. Now, I want to just put this into perspective. There's a mitzvah d'oraisa to shake Dalet Minim on the first day of Sukkot. Olakachto nachem b'yom mission. Dafka on the first day is a d'oraisa, the rest of the days are d'rabanan. Also choshev zeichel mikdash, but al kopanim, the first day is a d'oraisa. How much time and money do people spend on their Dalet Minim? Serious amounts of money. Serious amounts of money. In fact, there was someone on the way to me, my house, bringing me a box of esoigim to go through, and they're beautiful, like not stam esoigim. Anyway, he met a guy in the elevator, and the guy says, "Oh, you dealing with esoigim?" So he doesn't really deal with esoigim, but he's like, "Yeah, sure, I deal with esoigim, yeah. Well, what are you looking for?" He says, "No, how much are these esoigim? They look very nice." He's like, "This one is like $4,500. This one is like $6,000. The guy was actually like really interested to buy. He's like, it's not for sale, so I'm not going to sell it to you. But the guy was actually interested. People spend exorbitant amounts of money on these things. It's a mitzvah d'oraisa, which is amazing. One day. Eating on Erev Yom Kippur is a mitzvah d'oraisa also. Why don't people spend time making a schedule when they're going to eat, what they're going to buy, what type of food, what am I going to order? It's a mitzvah d'oraisa. The answer is because the Maisa eats a chapsa and gets you and says, "Nah, not too hungry, not so interested right now, I'm busy."
You don't have your neighbors coming into your house looking what you have for food. It's struggling, you walk with the shield.
Ooh, very good. Gewaldig. He's right. Adam heard? I don't know what I should say, but you're right. You said good. You said gewaldig. So the mitzvah d'oraisa to eat, clearly, right? And the Torah says not only is a mitzvah to eat, it's ke'ilu you fasted on the 9th and the 10th, even though we know there's only a mitzvah to fast on the 10th as well. And that's Paskin Halacha in Shulchan Aruch. Why? What's the reason that there's a mitzvah to eat on Erev Yom Kippur? Two reasons. The Gemara tells us, Brachos Daf Ches, Tor brings this down. Simple. It's easy to fast. When you eat on Erev Yom Kippur, it's easy to fast. The Torah wants you to have an easier time. The Torah is not here to give you tzah, chas v'shalom, derech noim. The ways of Hashem, the ways of the Torah are beautiful, they're sweet. And therefore, it's not pshat we're giving you tzah. Hilchos Yom Kippur is not to make you feel bad. It's not to make you sad, chas v'shalom, and depressed. No such thing in Yiddishkeit. Simcha. But there's certain things you have to refrain from for different reasons. So the Gemara tells us it's easy to fast. Rabbeinu Yonah says another mahalach. Rabbeinu Yonah says, I can't eat a Sudas Yontiv on Yom Kippur because I have to fast. But I can eat it on Erev Yom Kippur, which is what many people do, is the minhag to have a Suda. Some people even have two Sudas on Erev Yom Kippur to be Yotza, this idea of the Rabbeinu Yonah. When does it start? So there is a Shlar Kodesh, by the way, brought down in the Magen Avraham. The Shevet HaKahos, the Bel Zadayin, brings down this halacha also, that says that it actually begins from the night before. That's when it begins, not the morning, it begins from the night before. Lemaisa, the Gra and others held no, it actually starts from the morning, and the Aruch HaShulchan is very, very clear that it only starts from the day, because that's when the reasons that we eat on Erev Yom Kippur begin. We made it a mitzvah to eat on Erev Yom Kippur. Again, you want to be ate some more shitas, do the night before. Why not? Doesn't hurt. But be kavan in the shei mitzvah. But al kapan, the day of Erev Yom Kippur is the day that is a mitzvah d'oraisa. The Magen Avraham and the Mishnah Berurah says, I know this is very difficult to hear, but the Magen Avraham and the Mishnah Berurah says that you should learn less on Erev Yom Kippur. I know it's hard, but the Lemaisa learn less because you're so oisik in the mitzvah of eating and the avodas hayoim. Therefore, a person should try to eat to learn a little bit less. Of course, you have to learn. V'shteitzach, you have to learn. V'gisah b'yom v'loila. Avad, you have to learn, especially daf hayoim. Yizvachim, the oilam has started already. So, B'tz Hashem, make sure that you learn something in that case. By the way, the Ksav Sofer says women are also chayiv in this mitzvah of eating on Erev Yom Kippur because there's no reason why it shouldn't. They also have to fast on Yom Kippur. By the way, drinking is also included. It's not only eating, it's a refresh in the Gemara, Yuma Pei Aleph, Rosh Hashanah Dav Tes, Kol Oichel V'Shoisa, very clearly that it says eating and drinking. So drinking is also included. You do not have to eat bread. You don't have to sit down and have a Suda and have bread. You don't have to, even though the Kaf HaChaim says Lechatchela, it is an inyan to have a Suda with pas. Some use even Lecha Mishnah. The mitzvah and the minig of many is to eat fish on Erev Yom Kippur. The Matir Ephraim brings this down as well, because it's like a Yontov, Yom Slicha, Tosis and Subas Daf Daled as well. The minig is to eat the fish by many is on the first Suda, and Fleischik in the second Suda. I once asked Rav Scheinberg, the Rashiva, whether or not if you have candies, is that Yoitzer? He told me no. You need to have a Kazayas. Eating means an Achila. An Achila in the Torah means a Kazayas, and therefore less than that is not really included in that. Of the minig, Matir Ephraim, of having krepluch, and that is the din is going to be hidden. Moving on to another halacha as well. The Torah brings this down. The Shulchan Aruch Paskins. The minig is to go to the mikvah on Erev Yom Kippurim. Sug de be'alocha. Even if you generally don't go to the mikvah. I don't know why, but let's say you generally don't go to the mikvah. Zug de be'alocha Erev Yom Kippur. You go because you want to daven, but tahara. Of course, the Taz says it's better to go after Chatzos. Look on the calendar when Chatzos is, but of course it's mashman Shulchan Aruch. You can be'etzim go the whole day. So if you want to avoid the traffic, maybe go earlier on in the morning or something like that, and therefore you can avoid. Yes, sir. What does that mean, have to? How do you define the word have to? Are you going to get punished if you don't? Chas v'shalom.
Have to is if you don't do it. It's a sign.
Nothing happens if you don't. It's a miler if you do, a big miler. Because you're going to go and daven b'kedusha b'tahara. By the way, there are some private mikvahs around that Efsha you could, you know what I'm saying? You can figure it out. But it's a big miler. I understand. But it's a big miler. It's a choshev azach. That's what the Beirach is saying. Even if you generally don't go to the mikvah, on Erev Yom Kippur is the time you should push yourself and go Erev Yom Kippur. You know what I'm saying? But I'll put him Erev Rosh Hashanah, Avada, whatever. People are makpid on chatzitzas, make sure they don't have any dirt, and the band-aids and stuff under their nails and whatever it is. After mikvah, wear your big day Shabbos in order to daven mincha with big day Shabbos. And we'll just finish off with that halacha as well, that after Tvila, we wear big day Shabbos, so we daven mincha on Erev Yom Kippur, wearing big day Shabbos. We daven mincha earlier than normal. The reason I hear the minyan in yeshiva is about 2:30 or something like that. We daven together. It's a longer mincha because you got all the al-chaitz at the end of Shemana Esra, like on Yom Kippur. And the reason we do that, they were masakin to say vidoy before Yom Kippur even begins, is two reasons. Number one is we're worried, the Gemara tells us in Yuma, you might choke, right? That you might choke on the food during the Sudam of Sekes and die, and therefore you'll die without doing tshuva. So before the Sudam of Sekes, make sure you do vidoy. The Ramban says another reason is worried you might get drunk. And therefore, in the Sudam of Sekes, you're going to get drunk, you're not going to do vidoy that night, oy vavoy. Therefore you do it before. That's the reason why we do that. By the way, the halachas of vidoy, very important. When you're saying, Hashamnu bagadnu, al chait, al chait, al chait, don't lean on anything. If you're leaning on something, if you're sitting, could be that you're not even yotza. In that case, you are meant to bow slightly forward with your head, or at least your head. The Gemara seems to be mashma in that case. And the ikavidoy is avol anachnu va'avoisenu chotonu. When you recognize and you confess and you say to the Rabbi Shalom, yes, be a man, we did something wrong. That is the most important thing. I'm going to end with this. I always wondered how the Rambam tells us there are 3 halakim of tshuva, right? The 3 most important steps. Without these 3 steps, forget about it. Step number 1 is vidoy. We have that in our machsa. Step number 2 is charata. We talk about it. V'lo shovalon. It wasn't worth it. I can't believe we did that, right? We talk all of these things. The 3rd one is kabbalah, is to accept on yourself never to do it again. Where do we have that in the machsa? Where do you find in the machsa this thing of I will never do it again? For years, this bothered me. A guy could daven a whole Yom Kippur, say every word of the machsa, and yet he has never did tshuva, because he never did the 3rd condition, the 3rd step of the Rambam of Kabbalah, of accepting for the future. What's pshat? So I think I asked this to Rabbi Tatz one time years ago, and he said to me in a chanami, but we say a lashon of Oshamnu, Bogadnu, we're talking about the klal, we're talking in general in the public, memela, I can't say, a public, we will never do this again collectively. And another reason is you can't have a text saying, we will never do this again. Do you know what I mean? It's not exactly very nice. It's like when you come home and you bought your wife flowers before Shabbos because you upset her the night before. She decided to go out and buy a bunch of flowers. Yaakov, it's gewaldig, no? You take out the paper that you printed from AI. I want to give you these flowers because I'm really sorry what I did yesterday. Like, oh, come on, she's going to say, that's ridiculous. Who told you what to say? Who wrote the script? You can't do that. You can't say in Yom Kippur, I will never do this. Lemela, Rabbi said, think about this. There's 3 steps to tshuva. Number 1, vidoy. We say that. We have it many times over Yom Kippur. Number 2, we've got the idea, lo shovel on it wasn't worth it. We regretted, I can't believe we did that to the Rabbanu Shalom. The Gerus of Tshuva in the Tanya talks about what we're doing to the Shechina every time we do an Aveira. Think about that. Contemplate the Gadol Hashem. And number 3, we have to say ourselves, we will never do it again. Meaning, we never want to do it again. That's important. Because we know that unfortunately we may fall. But we never want to do it again. Be'ez Hashem, we should be Zercha B'Siyata D'Shmaya to be Yotze all the Tanoim of Tshuva. So Be'ez Hashem, we come out of Yom Kippur, B'Kedusha V'Tahara, clean slate, starting fresh. Be'ez Hashem, tomorrow we'll go through the actual halachas of Yom HaKippurim. Have an amazing day.